There's this really powerful idea in James Allen's work about visions and ideals. It's all about how we can take these dreams we carry around in our heads and actually, make them real in our day-to-day lives. So let's get into how that actually works. So James Allen puts forward this incredible thought that vision you hold in your mind, it isn't just some random daydream. He saw it as a promise, almost like a prophecy of the person you're truly capable of becoming. Kind of like how an acorn holds the complete blueprint for a giant oak tree. And right here is where it gets super practical. See, Allen was quick to warn against what he called the idle wish. So, the real question is, how can we tell if our vision is a powerful blueprint that's pulling us forward, or if it's just a passive daydream that's actually keeping us stuck? That's the main thing we're going to tackle.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with this idea of an inner blueprint. Then we'll get really clear on the difference between a true vision and a simple fantasy. After that, we'll learn a practical method called the daily rehearsal, see how it works in real life, and wrap up with a quick reset you can use right away.
All right, first up, the inner blueprint. The core idea here is really simple, actually. It's that the thoughts we consistently hold in our minds are acting like an architectural plan, and they're laying the foundation for the life we end up living. Allen suggests our mind is like a master weaver, and it's creating both our inner character and our outer circumstances. He basically argues that our external life is just a mirror reflecting our internal state. So if we want to change the reflection, well, we have to start with what's going on inside first. So what did Allen really mean by an ideal? Well, it's not just some nice idea. A better way to think of it is as a standard of character you choose to live by. It's this guiding vision for the person you're actively becoming, almost like an internal compass that you're consciously building your life around. Okay, now for what is maybe the most important distinction in this whole framework. This is really where the theory becomes practical, and it helps us separate what truly moves us forward from what's just holding us back. And here it is, side by side, a productive vision versus a draining fantasy. See, a true vision is an active plan. It knows there will be obstacles on the path. But an idle wish, that's just a passive daydream. Sure, it feels good in the moment, but it completely ignores the real challenges that come with any journey worth taking. And what's wild is that modern research totally backs this up. Studies actually show that when we only fantasize about a good outcome, that idle wish, our brain gets a little hit of the reward. It kind of feels like we've already done the thing, which, believe it or not, can actually lower our motivation to do the real work. Okay, so if we know the difference between a vision and a fantasy, how do we actively, build that vision? This next part introduces a really simple, structured practice to do just that. This is a 3-step method that kind of blends Allen's ideas with some modern behavioral science. So first, you define your ideal in really simple terms. Second, you identify the main inner obstacle, that thought pattern or feeling that always gets in your way. And third, you create a simple if-then plan, an intention for exactly how you'll respond when that obstacle pops up. This just perfectly captures the power of that daily practice. As the writer James Clear says, every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become. So this daily rehearsal, it isn't about being perfect. It's just about consistently casting votes for your ideal self. Okay, let's make this way more concrete. What does this daily rehearsal method actually look like in everyday life? We're going to walk through 3 pretty common scenarios. So let's take work, for example. Your ideal is to be a focused, valuable contributor. The inner obstacle, that constant feeling of being pulled in a million different directions. The plan, then, creates an automatic response. If I start to feel distracted, then I will close my email and work from my task list for just a short, focused burst. See, this little pre-decision means you don't have to rely on willpower in the moment. Or how about in a relationship? The ideal is to be a patient, present partner. The obstacle is that flash of irritability you feel after a long day. The plan here is so simple, but it's powerful. When I feel that irritability rising, I will take one single deep breath before I respond. That creates this crucial little space between the trigger and your reaction. And for personal habits, right, the ideal is to be a consistently healthy person. The obstacle is that all too familiar feeling of, I just don't have the energy. The intention breaks it way down. If I feel unmotivated, then I will just put on my shoes and do a few minutes of movement. It just lowers the barrier to getting started and helps build momentum. Now, to help you put this to use immediately, here's a super simple, actionable exercise you can do anytime, anywhere just to bring a little clarity to your own ideal.
Seriously, let's just try this right now. This isn't about some massive life overhaul. It's just about a single moment of focused intention.
Okay, first, just picture your ideal self handling one specific situation that's coming up. Second, name the inner obstacle, doubt, frustration, procrastination, whatever is likely to show up. And finally, just state one simple action you'll take when it does. That's it. You've just rehearsed success.
All right, let's bring it all together and quickly recap the most essential takeaways on all this talk about visions and ideals.
So here are the big things to remember. First, your thoughts are creating the blueprint for your life. Second, a true vision is an active plan that accounts for obstacles. It's not a passive fantasy. You build this vision through daily mental rehearsal, defining your ideal, naming the obstacle, and setting that simple intention. And finally, every time you follow through, you're casting a vote for the person you are becoming. And that really brings us to the final essential question, which I've paraphrased from Alan himself. The ideal you enthrone in your heart, that vision of your best self. That is the blueprint you will build your life by. So the question isn't if you're building something, it's what are you building?
We're going to continue to unpack these ideas in the next installment. Thanks so much for watching. I really encourage you to check out the full As a Man Thinketh playlist to explore all these concepts even more.